driver of performance, if we're trying to get better results, and by the way, it doesn't really matter whether we're talking about commercial results, academic performance, relationship performance, sexual performance. I don't know why I'm looking at Simon when I say that, but some of these things are fundamental to whatever type of performance you're talking about. Well, of course, we get better results by looking at behaviour. So behaviour is critical, looking at how people do what they do to get the result. So most performance appraisals in industry focus on what we've been doing. Our view is to really change, get sustainable improvement in performance, you've got to get to what people are doing, which is driven by how they think and feel about the world, and the feeling is driven by the emotion. So unless you get to grips with the emotion, you can't produce sustainable change. But even if you got to grips with the emotion, it's still not enough, because there's something even more fundamental driving your emotion, and that is your physiology. So what we're going to do now is we're literally going to look at what's going on with Jerry's biology in front of the rest of you, okay? Now, if you look at her on the surface, she looks terribly relaxed, but on the inside, whoa, right? And just mentioning that, he's gone off the scale. Hang on a minute. Now, Jerry's sitting here thinking, control yourself, you fool, control yourself. People are watching, right?
How do you know that?
Look, I've spotted that, and he's gone off again. This is how incredibly sensitive all of our physiology is to the threat. And now the physiology is settling back down to about 90 miles an hour again, so it looks like the threat is over. But what he doesn't realise is in a moment we're going to introduce something stressful, okay? If you make a mistake, it's going to cost you £50 to James. Okay, so there's a financial penalty for every error. Okay? So you mentioned a 50 quid. So even in those 8 minutes, Sue's made dramatic progress in 8 minutes. And her overall result, is we got about 27% coherence just in that first session. So all Sue needs to do now is to practice a bit more until she becomes more and more coherent. And then she gets her life back. Because you start to realise that once you've got your physiology under control, and it's under your control, nobody can disrupt you. And until you've got your physiology under control, anybody can disrupt you. You will be a victim of anybody else. But once you realise you can completely control your physiology, you can go into an interview with Jeremy Paxman knowing with absolute certainty that he cannot scramble you. Why? Because you control you, not him. And I cannot tell you what confidence you can gain from that, knowing there is no other human being around that can scramble your brain. That's a massive amount of confidence. So you can go into any situation, any meeting, any presentation, whether it's the shareholders, the analysts, your team, the boss, whoever, and go in with a degree of confidence knowing that you can ace it because you are controlling you, not everybody else around you. When you see elite performers, whether it's chief executives or whether it's sports people, it's not that they can't perform to a very high standard, it's getting the consistency. Day in, day out, being brilliant. All the bodily systems generate physiological signals, right? The problem is, people can't control the signal.
Dr. Alan Watkins is an international expert in the diverse fields of science and business. He is a senior lecturer in neuroscience at Imperial College London. He has degrees in medicine, psychology and a PhD in immunology. He has brought this deep understanding of how the human system really works into industry over the last 10 years. He has coached main boards and senior executives in some of the world's largest companies on the issues of leadership and performance. He has gathered biological data on over 400 leaders during their normal working day. He has uncovered what enables them to deliver outstanding performance day in, day out, regardless of circumstance. In his book, he shares these secrets and shows us how we can become 21st century leaders in our own field.